I'm Elena Molchanova. I'm the head of sales and marketing for Kaspersky security awareness products. And this is the group of products which create cyber safety skills for employees, for adults. And by this, the companies they work for are protected. Well, the key principle that we came during our experience is that employees don't care about cyber safety. Well, they do their stuff. They're accountants, marketing managers, social media managers, whatever. Why on earth should they think about cybersecurity? They actually don't want to spend their time on making something. They tell, okay, we can sign on the compliance sheet and do whatever you want. Just don't bother us with us. But their companies understand that it's impossible. The companies are losing money with employees' silly mistakes. So what to do with this? So this is the issue and this is the challenge that we as the product owners have. We must do our trainings engaging for employees and interesting for them. So the first principle, the first rule for us is to motivate people to train under our products. So, and what is also important, it's impossible that the management motivated all employees because it's too many work for them. So the products themselves, the trainings themselves should be motivated. But to be motivated, it's very important to be very practical. So because again, even if the training is very funny, if you have a lot of engaging stuff, but still you don't understand why it is, how it is related to your everyday life. So again, you won't be frustrated, you won't spend your time and you won't get any cyber safety skills. So the training itself must be very practical and it should give you practical skills. Every moment, every minute you spend with the training, you must create something useful for. Actually, the very good compliment that we get from our companies, from our customers and from their employees is when they say, oh, I passed the training, I passed the lessons. I get back home in the evening and, well, I share this knowledge with my mother, with my grandfather, with my kids. And my kids brought this news to their school teachers. And so we understand how it relates to our family as well. And this is the biggest compliment that we can get. Another important principle for corporate education is actually to engage top management and line management. Again, your employees can be very well trained, but if their managers tell them, forget about that, do your job, well, nothing works. It's not an easy job to convince top managers to spend their time for any kind of training. And the last thing, which is absolutely important, you must understand that learning is never easy. You cannot spend 20 minutes on learning French and speak tomorrow. It's impossible. And the same goes with cyber safety as well. So you must get your knowledge day by day, and you must repeat it to get your skills reinforced and fresh and strong. So for this, we are using the micro-learning. We don't make our students, our trainees, to pass through the longer stuff. But we ask them just to put through micro lesson, like 2 minutes, 3 minutes per day, and maybe to repeat it the next day. So it's all automated, it's all quite engaging, it's all quite practical. And with this, they're growing, they're building the cyber safety skills, and they becomes the part of their life. The remote work and all the COVID situation actually affected the cybersecurity world to a big extent. Of course, it goes to employees as well. Just imagine, you worked in the well-equipped office. You have all the types of technical protection. You have the strict policies. You have the IT service desk at the office. And in the one spring day, you're at your sofa with the questionable Wi-Fi connection. You don't understand how to connect to your colleagues, and so you're using a lot of messengers. questionable messengers from cybersecurity point of view. You have a lot of video conferences you have never used. Then you have a very strange Wi-Fi connection that you don't know is it secure or not. Of course, employees made a lot of mistakes, and we can see how the boost in the number of ransomware attacks, for example, and the phishing attacks which were caused by both cyber criminals' interest to this topic and vulnerability of employees on the remote work. So what happened actually? The companies, of course, understanding the situation, the company decided to distribute the new rules, the new trainings for them. But how it looked like? So the companies distributed, for example, the tip sheets where they had the rule, the new principle. Please change the password on your router. People say like, okay, I will. But the reality is that your accountant, for example, don't know how to change the password on the router. Strictly speaking, she or he doesn't know what the router is and how to find the router in the flat. So you are requiring people to do something, and they're happy to do this, but they don't know how. They don't have enough skills. Knowing this, we have issued in the very beginning of the April. So we issued the online training course. It was completely free. It was available in languages. It was fully devoted to the safety of remote work. And we know that many people across the globe passed it, and many journalists wrote the articles about this. It was very popular, and actually it helped a lot to save our customers and general public alike. Well, actually getting the new educational technologies is our direct job. Here at Kaspersky we have all the knowledge about cyber safety, about the content, which skills should be created, but how skills should be created. This is the job of security awareness department, and we are applying the new techniques. For example, I told you about our free course on remote work. We made some analysis of the results, and we understood that 34% of all the questions that we put to people were answered incorrectly. But with this, 88% of all employees thought that they knew everything. They were absolutely confident in their answers. So again, 1/3 of all the questions are answered incorrectly. And you are 100% sure that you're right. It's actually create the situation which is called unconscious incompetence. We must work with this. We must break the wrong conventions at the employees and create the new beliefs. And there is the new technology which is called adaptive learning, and we also engage it, and we introduced the training based on adaptive learning this year. So we can see how interactive it is. Absolutely. Actually, the technology of adaptive learning have been born for non-security topics, and it is hugely used for many topics, for sales education, for example. And many companies buy the adaptive learning platforms to provide, for example, the lessons on makeup, how to make the makeup better, or how to, I don't know, how to deal with logistics, whatever you want. We were the first to create the cybersecurity lessons based on adaptive learning technology and software. This is my job to sell to salespeople. If they don't buy from me, they don't sell my product to customers. Of course, we are working with our customers as well, but mostly to know what we can improve in our product and how to make it more saleable for our sales organization. Actually, working with Kaspersky sales organization is a huge joy for me, but of course it's a challenge because we have a lot of hundreds of great people who are great specialists in selling cybersecurity. They are the great specialists in working with the customers. But just to understand, Kaspersky has about 50 enterprise products in cybersecurity. So it would be silly from me to believe that I will come to them, to sales people, and say, "Hi, I'm Elena. I have the product number 51 to you, and please sell it." Of course they will, but they must be motivated. I must sell to them the idea of my product. So how we are dealing with this? First of all, you need to have the great product. It's definitely the necessity. It's not a service which you can provide well, on the fly. It is the ready product, out-of-the-shelf product that you're selling to the customer. And the salesperson should be very confident that the product will work fine and there won't be any issues with this. So the trust, the confidence in the product is the rule number one in this. The second part is that your team, my team, should be very trusted in terms of how they deal with salespeople, how they help them with the tender, with any documentation they might have. And we, at my team, we have the service level agreement on how fast we react to any request, how deep we are going into the problem that salesperson may have. We must guess the real question which goes behind the email that we got. So, for example, sometimes the customer doesn't know what exactly do they need, and of course the sales manager is not the specialist in our product, and sometimes they're making the questions very specific, but we understand that maybe there is something under this. And so this is our responsibility to answer the direct question, but then to make an assumption. So maybe many of our customers also interested in this. Maybe you also meant that so. And when salespeople understand that we are not just answering the direct questions, okay, I did my job, but they understand that we care, that we are trying to help them in the best way possible. Of course, they feel special for you and for your product as well. Of course, my product is have some privilege. It's always easy to come to the customer and to start talking about people's mistake, about education. It's very funny topics, and everyone are very happy to start conversations with this. So maybe it's easier. My product can be the door opener in many cases, but it's not enough. Again, the product must be good enough to sell. What we are giving to them, we are also providing quite gamified products, and the products which are funny not only to talk about, but the products which are funny on the piloting stages, on the proof of concept stage. And of course, when customers are convinced that it works, it's funny, it's interesting, and it works, of course, it's much easier to sell the product later. At some point, I started to think that maybe it's more about the how people are different, not the nations. Of course, different countries have different business practices. For example, how different countries and different markets react to discounts. Our marketing colleagues are having a lot of observations on how fast people are in their decisions in accepting the invitations. For example, if you have the webinar or any kind of event, then our European colleagues will send the invitations at least 6 weeks in advance. While for Russian market, it is absolutely okay to send the invitation 1 week ahead. And actually the majority of registrations will be made in the last 2 days. So this is the difference between, I don't know, the pace that people live in, or I don't know why so, but actually how it works, and actually this is what we consider in our marketing practice as well. Many people tell that, well, some countries, some nations can be slow, can be even lazy. I don't see it from our experience. For example, our Italian and our Spain offices, they are absolutely efficient. They work a lot, they work with the customers, they're inventive. They actually will come to you with the question in the middle of the night because they care about the customer. So it's I don't see the stereotypes work. Of course, some of them work. When you're coming to the Middle East, it's better if you have some longer introductions, some acknowledgements in the beginning of the meeting. It's never small talk. It's an acknowledgements, first of all. But then you're coming to the very practical stuff. You're coming to the customer requirements, you're coming to your capabilities, to the next steps. So it's all very rational, but still you have some points to follow. Of course, I made mistakes. For example, I once shook hands with our Saudi customer. No one told a word to me. The negotiations went well, I hope. But I understood that I'd better wait a little bit. I will wait for the customer's reaction. It's better for me to respond than for them to react if I did something. In this strange situation, if I don't know how to behave, I'd better look around and see how other people behave. And for myself, I will be imitating a bit European ladies living here, not the locals. For me, I think that it's a little bit more natural for me, and it is more respectful towards my counterparts in the region. I love to explore. I love to explore cities, first of all. I'm the huge fans of travel and city travel, first of all. I love to compare cities and to understand why one city is structured in this way and another one, which is very neighbor to this, why it is very different. I miss it so much. Yesterday we had a call with our French pre-sales manager, and I remembered that I used to spend November weekend, at least one weekend in November in Paris. I'm missing it so much now. I have a huge agenda to explore this wonderful city. This year I spent a lot of time exploring my hometown, the city I spent my entire life in, my beloved Moscow. And it happened that in close vicinity from my home, like 1 kilometer around it, there are at least 3 beautiful constructivism districts, which Moscow is famous for. It is the architectural style which was created in Soviet Union in 1920s. It's very special, and maybe it's one of 2 architectural styles Moscow is famous for. And so I live here. The people live there. People grow flowers, grow kids, wearing masks. It's just life, and I love it. My job is all about exploring. I'm exploring new products. I'm exploring new markets. I'm exploring myself, especially when I make the mistakes. I'm making mistakes, and so it's interesting how I react to this. And I explore new business. I explore new countries. I explore new food. I love it all. It drives me.